Welcome to this webinar on winning awards and how to craft a compelling awards application, recorded especially for Make UK members. The deadline for applications for this year's Make UK Awards is the 3rd of July, so you need to get writing. The slides you will see throughout this webinar have been taken from Wylde Connections' full course on winning awards. I have selected some of the key lessons to bring you a step-by-step process for helping you to write your applications. I hope you will find the webinar useful, and please do get in touch with me or the awards team at Make UK if you require any further assistance. Let's get started. The following quote by tennis ace Maria Sharapova really resonates with me. When I need to push myself, I think of all those nicely polished trophies waiting to be lifted up by the winner, and how that winner might be me. There are so many worthy companies with great achievements and great stories to tell, and yet they don't enter awards. There are lots of reasons for this, but one of the most common ones is that when you are working in your business, it is difficult to see how special your business is because it's just your day-to-day norm. So have a think about the achievements and the stories you have to tell about your business that will shine a spotlight on what makes it so unique and special. And now that we have set the tone for this webinar on winning awards, let me give you a brief introduction of who is presenting before we get into discussing the step-by-step process of crafting your awards application. My name is Denise Taylor, and I've worked with thousands of companies over the past 3 decades, helping them with their business growth through strategic and tactical marketing. In essence, this has involved helping my clients to tell their stories across all their different channels. It's also included the profile of my clients' businesses through entering awards, and we've been hugely successful with this because we are storytellers and because we understand manufacturing and our clients' businesses. I wear other hats too in my professional life, but this isn't about me. This webinar is about you and your stories, so get your pens at the ready. In this webinar, we are going to look at 3 key areas of winning awards. First of all, we will look at the proven advantages. You have to have a purpose for investing the time and energy needed to write awards applications, so there has to be a return on that investment, and we will explore this. We will spend some time looking at practical hints and tips on crafting your compelling narrative. And finally, we will explore the common concepts and themes of awards applications and what the judges look for. We will do this by exploring the Wylde Connections VIVA model, which is based on our experience of helping clients to enter and win awards. Nothing beats that feeling of euphoria when winners are announced. That sense of achievement and recognition for all your hard work is a great feeling. And if your team can be part of this and be included, then even better. The passion and enthusiasm that arises from this can then rub off on your customers and suppliers. Congratulations will come flooding in if you get your marketing right on your social channels and in the media. It's a fantastic marketing opportunity when you win awards. There is so much you can do with this in addition to the press and media coverage. Winning awards can be used in so many different ways in your own marketing, from writing blog posts about the win on your website to sharing your success across your social media channels. You can usually also put the awards logos on your email signatures and on your stationery. Winning awards helps you to establish credibility and reputation with customers and suppliers alike. People like to be associated with success. It makes them feel good about themselves too. This is just human nature. Winning awards also conveys that you are proud of your own business and its products and services, and that your business thinks innovatively and strategically. In short, your business is perceived to be strong, sustainable and successful. Certain award categories can add real credibility in specific areas of your business. For example, there are awards for sustainability, being environmentally friendly and green and socially responsible. A lot of awards these days have categories in these areas, and most applications have some element of environmental and social responsibility included. If your business is a socially and environmentally responsible business and you can demonstrate this by winning awards, then this has an added dimension as to how customers and suppliers see your company. If you're in a supply chain where this really matters, then just think of the message that winning awards in these categories can send. It's long been established that people don't just work for money. It's important, of course, but there are lots of other factors at play, such as well-being, the working environment, and being in a safe environment. But there are other factors too. People like to have a sense of pride in what they do, and they like to be valued for their efforts. Awards give validation to the team as a whole, and if individuals within your teams can feel like they are a real part of an award-winning business and their contribution is valued, just imagine what that can do for their motivation. For the same reasons, award-winning businesses are more likely to attract and retain talented employees. If you are running your company well enough to win awards and have all the right processes, policies, procedures, innovations and strategies in place, then this will shine through in all your dealings with customers, employees, suppliers, and anyone who has a connection with your company. A good reputation is a powerful thing to have for your business. It fosters word-of-mouth recommendations, and if you've been paying attention to how digital platforms use review sites, you will understand the impact this can have on your business. And all of this leads to your business gaining a real competitive edge. They say that success breeds success. One of the main advantages that is often overlooked is that the whole application process makes you look a lot more closely at your business, warts and all. If you are going to actually win awards, then you need to do your homework, and that homework is all about really understanding what your business is, what it does, how it does it, and why it does what it does. You need to understand everything from your strategic approach and direction right through to how you deal with any waste that your business produces and everything in between. Judges want to know that your business is well managed and that it is a responsible business. This means that you have to step back and take a long, hard look at your company. What are you proud of achieving? What makes it special? But also, what can you improve on too? The Queen's Award has one of the most rigorous awards application processes, and often businesses are shortlisted but don't win the first time around. What is good about the Queen's Award is that they provide you with detailed feedback that you can act on to make your business better. So even just entering and being shortlisted has massive benefits for your company. It helps you to improve how you run it and what you need to focus on to remain competitive, profitable, and of course sustainable. It can be hard to measure exactly where some new business and contacts come from, but the mindset of an award-winning company is one that will have the right strategies, processes and procedures in place, which in turn will help the business to be successful. Motivated employees will communicate their passion and enthusiasm, and this will have a knock-on effect on how they relate to customers. After all, people buy from people, and part of this mix is having highly motivated staff. Awards are not just for your sales team. If everyone feels motivated to offer great service, just think what this can translate to in your business. These are just some of the advantages of winning awards. There are many others, but I think you get the idea. When you enter awards, you will need to write about your business, how it functions, what it does, what it makes, what it sells, how it operates, and so on. The judges will be interested to hear about your business strategy, its vision and purpose, and how this underpins your company's growth and development. Is your business financially sustainable? Is it a growing business with strong market opportunities? What is your competitive advantage? Who are your customers and suppliers, and where are they? How do you reach them? Do you have robust processes in place, and how are these supported by your business infrastructure of people, operations and technology? How do you factor in quality control, and do you have any accreditations for this? Do you have policies that cover your legal commitments as well as those relating to your social and environmental commitments? These are all questions that can crop up in awards applications. Some of the applications ask you these things clearly and directly, but sometimes these questions are not so clear. But nevertheless, the answers to them paint a picture of your company as a thriving, successful business with a clear vision and strategy for growth and development. Before you put pen to paper completing your awards application, spend some time shining a spotlight into every corner of your company. Look at what you do well and why this is. What are the strategies and processes that you have put in place that help your business to function well? When you understand your business fully and you look at it with a fresh pair of eyes, you will see what makes it special. And if you are proud of what you see, then you definitely should be entering awards. There are a number of reasons why businesses don't enter awards. Not having enough time is a key factor, but so too is not recognising that your business is special. It's difficult to see the great stories that others might be interested in when you are working at the coalface day in, day out, and that this is just the norm for you. I found that this is especially so for manufacturing and engineering businesses that are not used to telling their stories. Which then leads on to the next question of how do you identify the stories in your business so that you can craft a compelling narrative for your awards application. This next section is designed to help you overcome some of these blocks and to explore your stories and whether they are strong enough to give you a compelling award-winning narrative. Of course, some stories about a business and its products or services may be clear-cut. It's easy to see why a company that has just launched a new product will want to shout about it. In this case, the story is about the product, how it was designed, what problems it solves, and how it has been launched onto the markets and what those markets are. There are also certain types of business with a strong track record in their field, or because of the nature of their business and how it is run. For example, a family-run business celebrating a milestone anniversary, or an export business that has enjoyed strong sales in international markets or new international territories. However, if things are not quite so clear-cut, or you have several potential stories that you can talk about, then you may need to dig a little deeper to identify what aspects of your business you want to showcase. There are a number of methods you can use to draw out the stories about your business, products or services. In this next section, we will explore 3 methods that you can use: the brainstorming method, the storyboarding method, and the customer journey method. Brainstorming is one of the most popular methods used for boosting creativity and coming up with new ideas. In this case, you're trying to identify stories that will be strong enough to form a compelling narrative for your awards applications. There are a number of key steps to follow for effective brainstorming sessions. The first is for your team to agree on the ground rules for the session. Everyone in the meeting must feel comfortable enough to be able to put ideas on the table, no matter how outlandish these might at first appear. There must be no criticism of ideas during the creative phase, and this needs to be agreed right from the outset. Agree on the time frame for the session. Will it be half an hour, or half a day? Weigh up the trade-offs if you are investing longer in a session like this. Will it give you what you need for a stronger application, for example? Don't forget there are also additional advantages for having these creative sessions. These are likely to have an impact positively on the work of team members as a whole. The second phase is the creative one. Not everyone is used to thinking creatively, so you might want to do some warm-up exercises to stimulate the creative thinking process. The sillier the warm-up exercises, the better, but try and keep it simple. A good visual game is the 30 circles game. Provide each team member with pens and a sheet of paper. On the paper, there are 30 circles already drawn. Set a time limit of 2 minutes. Ask participants to transform as many of the circles as possible into recognisable products and then compare the results after the 2 minutes is up. This is a simple but effective warm-up exercise, but one which can produce some hilarious results. This is what you are aiming for: a relaxed and comfortable team ready to share their ideas and insights. Now move on to the brainstorming exercise itself. You want the team to come up with as many ideas as possible. They can either do this individually using post-it notes or sheets of paper, or they can work as a team with ideas being thrown into the ring. During this creative phase, ask team members to suspend their critical thinking. No one should criticise or edit either their own ideas or those of their colleagues. Criticism at this stage only serves to stifle the creative process. Once the team is satisfied they have exhausted brainstorming, move on to the next phase, which is where you all now don your critical thinking caps. The third phase is the evaluation phase. This is where the team needs to switch its mode of thinking and move into critical thinking and evaluation mode. For this phase, you may devise a system for grading or weighting the ideas. In the case of awards applications, the application guidelines might provide you with some hints and clues. Look at each story or idea and select ones that are likely to provide a good solid foundation for your awards application. So now let's take a look at storyboarding. Storyboarding can be done in lots of different ways, but in essence it's about looking at the structure of your story and how it will unfold. You might choose a product or service and explore all the different elements of these. If you are entering awards based on a product and its design, you might want to use some of the creative thinking techniques from the brainstorming session to explore the different features of your product and its various applications. Here, don't just think about what the product has originally been designed for. Instead, think laterally and creatively about many other applications it could be used for. You might also want to explore the various benefits, which is something that is key to most awards applications. The matrix on this slide that we have provided is just a guide, but you can use the headings in whatever ways are relevant to your business. Now let's take a look at the final creative method, customer journey mapping. This is a useful exercise whether or not you are writing an awards application. As with the other methods, there are various ways of doing this, so the one in this slide is just a guide and an example. But essentially, what you will need to do is to map the journey your customers take with your business. There are various stages for this. Some customer journey maps start right from before the customer has contact with the business, and they run right up through to the after-sales process. Other customer journeys might map the process from the first sales enquiry up to the conversion into sales. However you map the journey, there will be several stages, and at each stage the idea is to capture as much information as possible about what your customer is likely to experience from their interactions with you. If you are looking to create positive experiences, then there will be key things that will be incorporated into each stage. For the purpose of this exercise, in relation to awards applications, map your customer journey and look at what your products or services are doing to benefit them or to add value to their lives or solve their problems. What transactions, connections and contact points take place during each of these stages? Do you have technology that automates parts of the customer journey but which make it easier for them to buy from you? Do you have customer service processes that involve additional support for your customers? How do you make sure your customers are happy? What is it that makes the difference? What is it that adds value? By doing this exercise, you will be able to see where you add value to your customers' businesses, and you should equally be able to map what this in turn means for your business, which is what the judges are looking for. We've now looked at 3 different methods to help boost your creativity. Often when you are busy, it's easy to dismiss being creative in this way in your business, but you might be surprised by the results, and it's also great for team building and improving morale. And you can still apply these methods even in lockdown, as we now have the online tools to have group meetings, and these can still be effective. An added benefit might be that you make your furloughed or shielding staff to feel part of the team. So this is perhaps yet another reason for entering the Make UK Awards. So now let's move on to crafting your narrative. If you've spent some time looking at your business and its operations, and you've discussed with your team which awards to enter, and which stories you are going to tell, and which categories these are more closely aligned with, you should now be ready to start the writing process. The first place to start is by studying the guidelines. This might seem like an obvious statement, but it's important to read the questions several times and also to read the guidelines carefully where these are provided. Make UK provide good guidelines, so take some time to read these for the categories you are entering. Highlight any key points. The guidelines are there for a reason, and they give you a lot of hints as to what the judging panel might be looking for. It is advisable to write your narrative in a separate document for editing purposes, and then later transfer it into the application, which you will then submit digitally. Study the language used in the application and the guidelines, and even on the awarding body website. Where possible, use language in your narrative that reflects the language used by the awarding body. In your application, be mindful not to use acronyms unless these are very specific to your industry sector and will be understood by the panel judges. Keep your language concise and to the point. Don't use words that add nothing meaningful to the application. If you have answered a section and it is way below the word count, but you've got across all your key points, don't be tempted to pad out the section with superfluous material. This will only detract from your narrative and not add to it. Often the word count for each answer or section can feel restrictive. How can you possibly tell your story in 250 words? But just bear in mind that everybody else is in the same boat. At this stage, however, and because you are working in a separate document, simply ignore the word count for now and focus on getting your story onto paper. Still aim to be concise and to the point in the use of your language, of course, but don't be restricted by the word count. This will only lead you to putting on your editor's hat, and it will stop you getting into a creative flow with your writing. You can edit the text later. Double check and make sure you have incorporated any pertinent facts and figures. It doesn't matter if these are repeated in other sections. Sometimes awards applications are repetitive by their nature in terms of the information they ask for. And if you have good strong case examples that will help to bring your narrative to life, and there is enough word count to allow for it, then use your case examples. Showcasing how your customers have benefited from your products or services really helps to paint a picture in the minds of the judges. And don't forget, the judges may have to read hundreds of applications. Those that are brought to life are the most memorable ones because they will be able to see clearly the difference your business makes and the value that it adds. As you can see, the key at this stage in the process is to get the writing done so that you have a good solid first draft that you can now work on and edit. The editing can be one of the most challenging parts of the process, as you will now need to pay attention to the word count. Most have strict rules on this, so make sure you don't go over the word count. Be strict about what needs to be included in each section of the application and what you can leave out without affecting the narrative. Often there is a section in the application where you can add additional material, so if you are short on space, then your case examples could be incorporated into the appendix or the section on supplementary information at the back. It's also probably worth pointing out at this point that you might want to have someone else to read through the application and give you their honest and constructive feedback, which will also help with the editing process. Writing and editing are the hardest part of crafting any awards application, and so it might be worth delegating these tasks to someone with the skills to do this. This can be a member of your in-house team, or you might want to outsource this to a writer or an agency with experience of writing awards applications. Before you make that decision, however, first of all read through the application and the guidelines and make a judgment call. Some applications are fairly straightforward and easier to write, while others might require a little more investment in terms of your time, energy and project management. And don't forget that the Make UK team are also on hand to help you. They have to remain unbiased, of course, but they can advise on some of the practical points. And as I mentioned earlier, make sure to spend time reading the guidelines. These will give you a really good idea of what the judges are looking for, and the guidelines are often used by them to score applications. One final point before we move on is to make sure that you have your application proofread properly. Having spelling mistakes and grammatical errors does not give a good impression and may lead judges to not looking as closely at your application as you'd like them to. So in summary, when writing your application, read the guidelines, keep your language clear and concise, remember to include all your facts and figures, use case examples where you can, check your word count in your final draft, and make sure your application is proofread properly. In the next few slides, we will take a look at the Wylde Connections VIVA model. This is a framework which brings together the common themes in most awards applications. These are vision, innovation, values, and achievements. These 4 themes cover the topics for almost every question that will be asked in some form or another. So let's now move on. So let's now explore the first section of the VIVA model, which is vision. When we talk about the vision of a business, this can mean a number of different things. Some companies see their vision as where they are going to be in 5 or 10 years' time, and they shape their goals around this. Others see vision as the fundamental purpose of their business and what drives them to do what they do. However your company describes its vision, this is something that judging panels are interested in. They want to understand why a company does what it does and how this benefits the company's customers, as well as the wider society and other key stakeholders. The terminology may be conveyed differently in terms of the language used in the application questions, but the concept of the vision of the business will be a key part of any application narrative. Of course, you might be very clear on what your vision and purpose is, and you are able to articulate this well. However, if you're struggling with this and how this relates to entering awards, then let's delve a little deeper. Let's have a look at what a vision statement is. A vision is a forward-looking aspirational statement that tells the world what the company would like to achieve and how it would like to make a difference. In general, there are 5 key elements to a vision statement. The first one is determining your company's purpose. Purpose and goals are completely different. Goals are tangible and set around specific targets. Purpose, on the other hand, appeals to the emotions. It is aligned more with the ethos and philosophy of the business and its character, which in turn helps to shape the corporate image or brand identity. It taps into the psychology of marketing and why people buy and make the buying decisions that they do. Of course, price can be a deciding factor, but as the literature shows, most people make buying decisions based on emotion. Looking at this in relation to your company's vision, it is this emotional element, essentially the passion behind the business and what it stands for, that customers, employees and suppliers will align with. Judges like to see clearly defined vision statements in applications, so spend some time reviewing this for your business and look at how you can weave this into your narrative effectively. The second aspect is looking ahead. Project 5 to 10 years into the future. Imagine what your business will be like in 5 or 10 years' time. Picture what the world would look like, the size of the business, its geographical location, the markets you are operating in, what the competition is like, what new products you will have launched in that period, what mergers or acquisitions you will have made, what technology you will have invested in. Some awards applications ask these questions directly in terms of the future plans for the business, so it's good if you can be prepared to answer these in a meaningful way. And don't just discuss the future in terms of the hard financial aspects of growth. Paint a broader picture of what this will mean for your customers or beneficiaries or for wider society. The third section is defining success. What does success look like for your company? What will make it successful in its operational capabilities? What about the consistency of quality and delivery? How will you offer the added value for your customers so that they remain happy and loyal? Defining success is the fundamental principle for all awards applications, so you will need to give this some serious thought. The fourth aspect is understanding your business type. There is more to understanding your business type than simply describing its legal constitution. The type of business can also relate to how you describe it and position it in the markets in which it operates. For example, as a general rule of thumb, a non-profit organisation will often describe an ideal world, one that they are seeking to make better through their activities. On the other hand, a profit-making company tends to describe its place in the world in relation to its markets and its competitive landscape, and even with regard to its geographical territories. The fifth section is defining your goals. Goals in this context is in relation to the overarching goals of the business to form part of its vision statement. Some companies will define the levels of revenue they want to achieve, whereas others might state they want to be the number one company in a particular industry. Goals, as distinct from purpose or vision, are usually measurable and timely. In awards applications, goals might be translated as financial targets, or they may form part of the vision for the future, as I've already mentioned. Successful companies usually have a strong vision and purpose. They have strategies that have been well thought out, and the processes in place to action them. This is what the judges are looking for when we talk about visions or goals or aims and objectives. When you are crafting your narrative, don't just describe the what and how. Put some passion into your application and talk about the why your business does what it does and why this is important. Now let's take a look at the second section in the VIVA model. This is innovation. Like visions and goals, innovation comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes and has different meanings depending on who you talk to and what sort of businesses they run. For a product designer or manufacturing business that makes its own products, this aspect of entering awards is probably easier to convey, especially if the application is based on a particularly new product that has recently been launched. But if you're not a product designer or manufacturer making their own products, don't let this question put you off. Innovation can also encompass how you've approached a particular problem for your customers or beneficiaries, and you might have arrived at some innovative ways for finding solutions. The solutions themselves might also be innovative. Also, we're seeing lots of innovation right now in a world that has been turned upside down by a pandemic virus. Businesses all over the world are pivoting what they do, and there is no end of innovation being applied to solve both local and global problems. There are manufacturers making products that they would never have considered making before COVID-19. Precision engineers in aerospace and oil and gas are making ventilator parts, and it seems that a broad range of sectors are making face masks and personal protection equipment. Chemical companies have switched to making hand sanitizer, and even pizza makers are switching their ovens to forming plexiglass for face masks and shields, as these ovens have the heat necessary to do this. Throughout the whole of human history, innovation has been in our DNA. As the popular saying goes, necessity is the mother of all invention, and it is this problem-solving aspect of invention that drives innovation. So how has your business found solutions to problems in order to improve your own business processes and in turn add value to your customers' businesses? And if you have designed and launched new products or services, how have these benefited your customers? As I've already mentioned, pay attention to the benefits as well as the product features. We have discussed in a previous section how you can use brainstorming to boost creative thinking. This method would be a useful exercise to complete if you need some additional inspiration for helping you to look at how your business is innovative, what problems it has solved, what new processes it has put in place, and how it has overcome challenges with new approaches and new ways of thinking. The next section of the VIVA model is values. Over the past few years, values have become increasingly important in awards applications, with a section on corporate social responsibility, or CSR as it's known, cropping up in nearly all application entries. It has become so important that there are now also separate categories based on values, such as categories for sustainability or categories for environment or green businesses. and the Make UK Awards are no different. Values have become so important across our broader society that the larger companies in supply chains across most sectors now require compliance or adherence to their codes of conduct around values, ethics and CSR. The adapted diagram on this slide looks at the key areas of corporate social responsibility and sustainability. When you look at each section and then compare them to the questions in an awards application, you will see that these themes crop up time and time again. You will need to demonstrate that you have a financially sustainable business and that you are achieving this ethically and legally. Also, you might have HR policies in place that reward employees for their work over and above what might be legally expected. Clearly, this will go beyond just paying employees the minimum wage, but it's not just about financial remuneration. If you have various schemes and incentives for staff, these demonstrate that you are a caring and responsible employer. And this information is valuable content in awards applications. In fact, many ask these questions directly. Your legal responsibilities are also vitally important, and there are some sectors where legal compliance is more rigorous than others. But all businesses have some element of legal responsibility, no matter what size they are or what sector they work in. Businesses have to pay taxes, file their accounts and pay employees within legal frameworks. There will be health and safety regulations that you will need to adhere to, and there may be additional laws and regulations for your specific industry sector. If you are once again going above and beyond the minimum legal requirements, then you are differentiating yourself as a business, and you can incorporate this into your application narrative. Looking at the next section, environmental responsibility. This is a very broad subject area that covers everything from having recycling processes in place right through to being a full circular economy business which reduces, reuses, remanufactures, recycles or repairs materials, resources and products. There are awards for businesses that can demonstrate they have significantly lowered their carbon footprint, which can be achieved in a whole variety of ways. Some businesses also commit their staff to getting involved in environmental projects. Any initiative your company takes to be more environmentally responsible needs to be showcased in your application narrative. Moving up the pyramid, we'll take a look at ethical responsibilities, which is another major topic in today's modern society. Modern slavery, equality, diversity, where raw materials are sourced from, and how companies behave with their employees and suppliers are all issues that companies now have to grapple with. If you don't already have a code of conduct on these issues, then this application writing process might prompt you to at least think about it. If you do have policies in place that cover these aspects of your CSR, then make sure that you include these in your application. You might think that with everything we've covered in the first segments of the pyramid, we should have dealt with the philanthropic responsibilities, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where self-actualization sits at the top of the pyramid as a lofty aspiration. So too does philanthropy. Fundamentally, this is about the charitable and benevolent acts that your business carries out. Those charity challenges and events that you host or participate in, the fundraising events, the volunteering work, the sponsorships and donations, the ethos of giving back to society and to the environment over and above what is required of your company in its day-to-day operations. This also covers anything you do for your employees that is charitable. All these acts of kindness and generosity paint a picture of the type of business you run, and judges like to see that your business is also a pillar in the community. If you are entering a specific category for sustainability, rather than this just being part of an application, then you will need to focus strongly on your achievements on this and your environmental credentials. This will involve more than just reducing your carbon footprint. You will need to demonstrate significant impact on society from your sustainable operations. The final section in the VIVA model is achievements. An awards application is your opportunity to showcase all that is great about your company. That's the whole point of this exercise after all. Most awards are looking for evidence of success. They will want to see financial growth, and it may be that you have achieved this through launching new products, but your business might also have enjoyed significant growth through opening up new international territories, which may also have had a big impact on the business. Your company might be celebrating a major anniversary. If your business has longevity, perhaps over a number of decades, the structure and size of it has probably changed. Your business will have evolved with the introduction of new products and services, and with growth you're also likely to have increased your workforce. Processes and procedures will also have changed over a period of time, and there will be developments that will be of note and which will resonate with a judging panel. We've helped a number of clients with their applications, which are focused on the changes and innovations that they've made to their operations and all the processes involved. This has led to successful award wins based on their new business models. One precision engineering company adapted a business model from another industry sector and used this to create what they called their glass factory approach. And by this I mean a transparency of the company's operations for its customers rather than a literal glass factory. The business now offers machining by the hour, which has significantly reduced lead times, improved their production capabilities and performance, and has improved overall productivity and profit, as well as keeping customers even happier. Another client, also a precision engineering company but in a different sector, places quality as one of its fundamental core values because of the nature of the work they do, which is machining components that have to endure hostile environments. Previously, the business was spread across 4 separate sites, and most of its testing was outsourced, which led to delays in their delivery schedules and a lack of control over the quality processes. The directors took the decision to invest in a new purpose-built factory, new machinery, and they brought all the testing and calibration in-house. In this way, the business could control the quality of all its products and significantly reduce lead times on delivery. As a result, the company's turnover increased from 3 million to 20 million in just over 2 years. When you look at these two companies and what they do, both streamlined their operations to improve productivity, performance and quality, but they still machine the same parts and components, and because they manufacture from their customers' drawings, they don't necessarily see themselves as innovative because they are not designing products per se. But the innovation was in the thinking differently about things that should be done and not just simply sticking to traditional methods, because that's the way things have always been done. The result for both businesses have been staggering with exceptional growth. It is so easy to overlook achievements, both large and small, but when you start to think about how your company has made a difference and how far it has come, then there is cause for celebration, and this will help to draw the judge's attention to the successes your company has enjoyed. But what about overcoming challenges? Every journey has its challenges, and in business this is no different. These challenges may be internal or they may be external. This is why the good old SWOT and PESTLE model continues to be popular for tools for evaluating the business landscape. SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, while PESTLE stands for political, economic, social, technological, legal and environment. These are factors that affect your company internally and externally, and any one or more of these areas can present challenges. Overcoming challenges is a question that comes up in awards applications time and again. The judges are not looking to trip you up. Instead, they are looking to see how you've gone about solving the problems your company has faced. What strategies and methods did you adopt and why? This gives them insights into the qualities and traits of the senior leadership within the business. And your answers can also reveal a lot about the operational processes of the company, as well as employing innovative and critical thinking skills. And of course, overcoming challenges is also a success in its own right if the company comes out the other side stronger and more sustainable. On this slide, you will see a few case examples of companies that have won awards at both regional and national level, including winning the Queen's Award for Enterprise. These companies are manufacturing and engineering businesses, probably just like yours. 2 of them are precision engineering businesses. They machine components and parts from the designs their customers give them, and yet both of them are innovative companies. The third company has a history stemming back to the 1600s, and today continues to design new products for global markets. There is no one-size-fits-all when entering awards. There will be awards out there that your business can enter, and every business has its unique stories to tell. So take some inspiration from others in your sectors and get completing your applications, especially for the forthcoming Make UK Awards. Let's now turn to the Make UK Awards. For manufacturers across all the different sectors, the Make UK Awards is one of the highlights of the year. Sadly this year we won't have the glitzy awards ceremony, but this shouldn't stop you from entering. Everything is being done digitally, but the prestige for winning these awards is still as high as it ever was, and there will still be lots of celebrating, albeit this will be done digitally. And what's more, just think of all the publicity that an organisation like Make UK will bring if you win. You will even benefit from the promotion if you are a finalist. An added benefit is that it will also put you higher on the Make UK radar. Make UK champions manufacturing companies day in, day out across all its channels, and this is an opportunity to showcase to them what you do. You really can't lose. This year, the Make UK Awards are focusing on some key areas. There is the usual business growth and strategy, of course, as well as the Apprentice Awards and developing future talent. An interesting category this year will be the Manufacturing Matters, given that we have so many manufacturing heroes who have pivoted their businesses to respond to the COVID-19 crisis. If you are one of these, then you should definitely consider entering. The deadline for entering the awards is 3rd of July, so you don't have much time left, but hopefully you will have picked up some hints and tips from this webinar to help you with the process. So get entering and good luck with your applications. If you do require some additional support to help with your application, then my team is available. We have a very good track record with successful applications and award wins for our clients. We cannot guarantee you will win, of course, but we can certainly help you to increase your chances. Depending on which awards you are entering, our support can be anything from 1 day up to 5 days typically. And finally, I will leave you with my contact details. Please feel free to email me and I'd be happy to have an informal chat with you about your awards application. Grace Miller from Make UK is also on hand to help you through the Make UK Awards process. The team at Make UK are very helpful, so do get in touch with them. And thank you for listening, and good luck once again with all your applications. Here's to winning awards.